Okay, for our next pitch, I'd like to introduce Mr. Christopher Turvey.
Hi, I'm Chris Turvey. I started college in 1993. There were no online classes at the time, and I kind of wish there were because I had the worst time in college. I'd go into classes, and I didn't feel like I had much of a voice. I wasn't a very quick thinker, couldn't talk on my feet. You might see that translate here tonight a little bit. But as my 20, I didn't have much to say anyway. So I made it through though. So it took me 6 years, but I graduated. And in my career, I'm a programmer, and I worked my way up to where I worked my way into a research and development role. And I research educational technologies. So in that, a lot of times of what I'll do is I'll work with faculty members to better communicate with their students. And I work with students to better communicate with their professors. And I'm building the kind of tooling that I as a student would have liked to have had when I was a student. So in 2015, I worked on a research project with Turner Classic Movies. The paper that the judges have in front of them, I have a little sample of what that interface looked like. What they see in the middle of the screen, in the middle of the paper, is what we effectively called our biggest breakthrough of the whole thing, is how do we communicate comments on a timeline at scale? And that's our confetti bar. With confetti bar, we've seen other annotation systems that allow you to put comments on a timeline, which was one of the first important breakthroughs. But with the way that they're spaced out on the confetti bar, we can put hundreds and thousands of them on a timeline without it being too overly crowded. Other systems that we saw, they would put a black line in, and that would get very crowded very quickly. So our second breakthrough was contextual restraint. So when you're making a comment, you don't want to just have a comment on a timeline that is an open text box. Because when you get that, even though you're hoping for Shakespeare, you're not going to get Shakespeare. If you've ever read a YouTube comment, that's the farthest you're going to get from Shakespeare. But Paracontext provides an entire tool chain for contextual constraint, which will become the new normal inside of the way that we'll do annotations in the future. So right now, we have this, of course, working with video. That works with live video. We can bring in Vimeo, YouTube, and this can be brought into a learning management system or as a standalone system that you would have. But as I said, right now we do currently work with video. We also allow the paracontext to exist on 3D models and text. I thank you all for your time, and you have a great night.